Welcome to the Soulish Podcast. I'm Whitney Apke and I'm your host. On the Soulish Podcast, we talk about the soul journey, the body, soul, spirit connection, and everything in between. I have energy workers, body workers, light workers, everybody comes on this podcast, and it's really awesome because I'm able to bring on all perspectives, all thoughts, all belief systems. I love talking about it all. I myself came from a Christian background and have since gone on more of a spiritual journey, but I think that every journey is sacred, including yours. And so this podcast, we talk about everything, and everything is included. And it's really fun to have guests on to present different ideas or different perspectives and share their soul journeys, share their spiritual journey and awakening, and also kind of the lessons that they've learned. Because I really have always felt like wisdom is hearing from other people what they did right, what they did wrong, or what worked for them, what didn't work for them, and see how it may apply to your life, or how that may actually help you and support you in your life. And so that is always my goal with bringing on guests, as well as these solo episodes with me, because my heartbeat, I guess, is really just to be supportive of other people's journeys. That is the goal, is to encourage, inspire, empower, uplift you, maybe give you a few laughs every now and again with whatever silly comment I make. But really, it's to speak to your soul, to encourage you right where you're at in your soul journey, and also confirm, maybe bring clarity to things. I take everything as a sign or as a little nod from the universe, a little love letter. And so today we're going to be talking about something, and it's actually really spot on for a current, like literally right now, that I had at this recording experience. And it's how to be happily single and yet open to relationship. And we've talked a bit about relationships on this podcast. I've had Yasmin Elzamore, who is one of my best friends, and she's also a relationship coach. We have talked a lot about relationships, our journeys. She shared her journey, I've shared mine together. But really, I think what I want to get at with this episode is my self-love practice, how to safeguard hope, like believe in your future, whatever that is. And then also how to not settle for half or partial, because I know that oftentimes when we have expectations, desires, wants, needs, we need it met, right? And so a lot of times I have seen people settle. I've settled in my own life with other things, not just relationships, but even friendships. You know, we can settle in our friendships and the people that we surround ourselves by. So I think this episode is going to be really, really good, really juicy. I hope it's juicy. And also just like heart centered. That's my goal, is not being up necessarily in the mind and the thoughts and all of that and the distortions that we have around being single or being in a relationship. But I just really want this to be heart centered and share my experience, because I'm currently single. I'm currently, just putting myself out there, really enjoying the journey of dating. Dating at 35 is way different than dating at 25. And even before I was 30, that was kind of when I went back into the dating pool again too, before I met my last recent relationship partner. And so I think it's just really interesting. And I know that the majority of my listeners are women. I do have men here. So thank you so much, men, for being a part of this Soulish tribe. Thank you, women, for being a part of the Soulish tribe. And I really hope to give kind of a perspective and share my wisdom or my experience with you. And I hope it resonates. So here we go. Let's dive in. So let me give you the DL, the tea. Let me spill some tea for you. So I was talking to this gentleman, and I did what Andre, who is in a previous episode parody, told me not to do. I went back on Bumble because I was like, well, let me try it. Let me try it again. I don't know if any of you guys do that, where you pause, unpause, pause, unpause, unpause. And I actually was on Bumble to research some stuff because I'm in a cool project as well that is app related. And so I was like, well, let me get back on and just see, and do some research at the same time. Why not? And so ended up talking to this guy, and talked for like pretty much like the whole weekend. So a couple days of like chatting, voice texting, that kind of thing. And on my profile, I show like all the pictures. I show full body shots. I show face, right, hair. It's like, what I look like. I'm not catfishing. I don't really have filters. I don't need filters. And I just try to be real and authentic because come as you are, right? And I want somebody to like me for me. So why am I going to portray anything else, right? Just doesn't make sense. So anyway, long story short, um, we're supposed to meet up at one of my favorite places, and it was kind of the between us place, and I was really excited just to grab a drink and say hey, what's up, and have a good convo. Like that's all my expectation was have a good time. I've been working all weekend, and so I thought, hey, this is going to be a nice reprieve before getting back into the work week. And so I get there, and I did see a truck pass by, but I got there and I'm standing there and I get a voice text saying, like, hey, did you walk in? And I'm like, yeah, nothing. And so I wait another 5-10 minutes. I'm like, where are you? Like, he had even messaged me prior, letting me know like he was like 5 minutes away. Nothing. And then I just said it again, like, hey, I'm here. I'm in the foyer. And at one point I stepped aside. I was like, I'm outside, like, where are you? And nothing. So obviously I'm not an idiot. Like after 15 minutes when I knew, cause he told me like, I'm going to be there right at this time. And then asks me, did you walk in already? Like I know he's here, or like he arrived. It's not, I'm not an idiot. So obviously he either one didn't like what he saw, or two he got scared, or three, I don't know, fill in the blank, whatever that is. So for me, it's just such a disappointment because I'm like, oh my God, like what I look like I totally, whatever. I don't hide anything, so I don't really understand why you wouldn't show up. I don't get it. And he's like an ex-Marine, so I guess he really doesn't have, Anyway, not gonna put him down, but it's just weird. So it's so funny because in this dating experience, like I think that's the first time I've ever actually had that happen. I have never had that happen before. So I was like, this is an interesting experience. Let me see where this sits in me, because this is actually really fun and really interesting, because how is this gonna touch me as a woman? Like I took the time to fucking do my hair and do my makeup, get cute for you, I put on some glitter, some body glitter. I'm sparkly. So like I'm sparkly and ready to go. So so it's like, where does this sit in me, right? Like, and I got a little emotional. I was like, cool, okay, so where is that coming from? Why am I sad right now? Am I sad because I'm disappointed? Because that sucks? Because that's a shitty feeling to be like stood up. Is that where it's coming from? And I think it was, again, what came up in me was the hopelessness. It's so funny. This keeps coming up, and I'm like, got it. Okay. So this is still there. Like I've been working on this for almost a year now, where it really came up really hard. I really struggled. And that was, I had a final episode on the podcast for 2021. And that message was a really strong message. I was in a really like kind of not so great, not even healthy place. And I knew I was going to get into that space. I knew that was coming. I just didn't know how hard it was going to feel or be, but it was just such a state of despair and hopelessness with just generally life, like not even like relationships. It was like life in general just felt so hopeless. Like, why am I here? What am I doing? All those questions, right? Which are great questions to ask yourself. But I was like feeling the emotions and the weight of not having those answers and feeling like it was the worst answer. And that was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not making any difference. I can't even connect with people. Like, I think I felt some type of way because I moved to a new place and trying to get, my friend group. And I had a friend also ghost me then. So it was like same friend that recently ghosted me then. So it was like all these things, right? Just kind of wrapped in one and feeling really hopeless. And so I think what's interesting is that thread, like a thread of that came up today, right when that was happening. And I was driving home and I was like, interesting, this feeling keeps getting triggered when a goal is blocked or when something that I'm excited for doesn't happen. And so again, I'm still placing expectations like there must be a need here, which I know that there's a need, but bear with me, that there's a need here that is not being met within. And it is being met, or it's potentially being met in these experiences, in these getting out there dating experiences. Now, I know we've had a mini series with Josh and we went all into this, right? On a ego and also anything outside of you, not being the thing that completes you. And we've talked a lot about that in several different ways on this podcast. But what is so interesting is I love what Josh always reminds me. He's such a good friend to remind me always that nothing is ever good or bad. And so everything is just like a part of your journey, right? And so I hope like if anybody listening to this episode heard that mini series, go re-listen to it. I think if you got nothing from that mini series, I hope that you got that basically nothing that we do is wrong or right. It's just all a part of the journey. And that we need to just be aware of what is coming up. Like triggers are good. They're opportunities. They're love letters from the universe. And so I was just really sitting in it. And this is still fresh for me. I'm still sitting in it and just kind of seeing like what my heart was saying tonight. What was actually crying out, what wanted to be heard, what wanted to be seen, and what desire was still unmet, right? Because I could have felt this way, like, let's say, I mean, good God, he might have just like blessed me with not wasting my time with having a date with him and him being an awful date. I mean, it could have been such a waste of time. So perfect. He only wasted 30 minutes, 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back. Thanks. Because it could have been much worse, right? But I think what's interesting is that trigger moment, that moment when you're like, hold on, why does this hurt? Why am I having emotions? What is coming up? What is the belief that is rising up right now that I'm never going to find my person? Got it. Cool. Check. That my heart is never going to feel that feeling of being loved, of being desired, of being seen, of being wanted. All of those things that women, the feminine, we want that expressed, and we want to experience that. But the thing is that I'm realizing more and more and more, and in layer upon layer upon layer. And guys, y'all know, I mean, I have an episode on yoni eggs where we talk all about this. I have done so much embodiment work. I do it daily. Like I work on this daily. So I'm saying that because I want to encourage you. If any one of you feels this way too, male or female, whatever you identify, if you feel this feeling, I just want to let you know, look, I have the same thing happen. I experience the same thing too. It doesn't make you less spiritual. It doesn't make you less worthy. It doesn't make it less possible for you to experience what you want to experience in your life. This is a journey, right? Like everything is a journey. And so even this experience, this is a great opportunity. This is a love letter for me to remind myself in the deepest ways, because this goes actually really deep. This is not surface. So I was like, perfect. Yay. Like this is when you get to actually like do the work. It's like in moments like this. So it's such a blessing in disguise, even though it sucks. It doesn't suck too bad, but what's awesome is it's an opportunity to go deeper. It's an opportunity to go in and see where this is pinging, you know? I always find like I don't wake up in pain. I don't experience pain throughout the day, but the second I get on my chiropractor's table, every time, all of a sudden, certain areas start pinging and start lighting up. And so he kind of knows, I'll like let him know. And so I'll start pointing like here, 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 back here, and I'll like let him know, like, so funny. This is pinging now. And it's like, it never pings until I get onto that chiropractor table, Dr. Darren's table. and wait there for him to adjust me. And all of a sudden my body starts lighting up and starts expressing the areas that need adjustment. It's awesome. So it's yet again, it's an opportunity to realign. It's an opportunity to touch that area. It's an opportunity to send love to that area. And so I just want to encourage you guys. That's when you're happily single, but you're open to a relationship and you're navigating dating. It is not easy. And it's not easy as a conscious person. Hell, it sure as fuck ain't easy as an unconscious person either. I mean, let's be real. Like if it ain't easy for a conscious person, for an unconscious person, it's even more difficult. Yeah. So, so give yourself grace and give yourself that room and that space and allow it to be an opportunity when you get let down or when that guy ends up missing teeth. Yeah, that happened to me once. And when that person is maybe just even just not your person, but you had all this hope that they might be, I just want to encourage you, use all those moments. And relationships are and friendships, really other people in our lives are our greatest catalysts, even if there's not like a history or any kind of connection. Even just interacting with people on the daily. I love the gym as a point of interaction as well. Like those are all opportunities to really have like a catalyst moment and to experience something and to have something evoked, really within you. I mean, nothing does it like triggers. Nothing does it better like triggers. And so anyway, so I just want to encourage you guys with that. But yeah, so I think for me, what came up was that hopelessness. And so I was like, got it. So I need to safeguard that hope because hope, I think the Bible even talks about this. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. And that was something that I felt and experienced for the first time, I think, really. I've been depressed before. I've been even suicidal before, but I don't know if I've ever had like literally my hope literally was deferred. It literally was deferred and I literally got sick, heart sick over it. And it translated into physical pain. It translated into total lack of energy, total lack of motivation, total lack of joy, peace, love. I began to hate myself for the first time in forever. It was just awful. It was fucking awful. And the whole time I was aware, like I knew I hated myself and I was trying to send myself compassion and love, the opposite. But I knew that I was hating all the decisions I've ever made that ever led me to this point. Like I was looking back on my history and I just was like, God, you fucking idiot. Like it was not good convos I was having with myself in my history, my even just this life history. And then I was even wondering, what have my past lives been like that led me here to hope for so much and to desire so much and to want to do so much good in the world and yet feel completely strapped and limited, to be budgeting and penny pinching and trying to make it and feeling like, God, is it ever going to be enough? Can I ever just have what I need? And maybe even more than that, like, am I always going to lack? Am I always going to be limited? And so I was just up in that of like, this has been my experience and why, like what has led me here? And then seeing kind of what had led me here and the fact that I grew up in a lack mentality and victim mentality, and that has always not just plagued me, but I have fed into this narrative for so long, and all the things I believed about myself that were diminishing and I think even like depraved and deprived and like always seeking, always needing acceptance. And I saw how weak I've been in my life, and that was like not a happy time to like see and acknowledge the weaknesses, right? When you acknowledge the weaknesses in your life, sometimes it can, and like your shitty decisions, it can sometimes really really get you down. Like, let's not be all fluffy and happy go lucky here. Sometimes when you do that, when you actually get into that space, it is not you can be not okay. Like not okay with your life, not okay with what's going on. So all that to say, I'm sure you're asking, how the hell did you even get out of that? Well, several things. I think I stayed in it and I faced it, and that was really fucking hard. I wanted to tune out so bad and to give in to just like literally be like consumed in it. And I think honestly, there was moments where I literally like laid back, arms open, going like, just kill me now. Like, just have your way. It was kind of like one of those moments. And but I faced it and I acknowledged everything, and then I tried my best to continue to speak love and compassionate. I tried to speak compassionately to myself and understanding that, like, look, everyone has a mountain. This is just my mountain. And I cannot um I cannot say that my mountain is too big or that my mountain is impossible, because I believe that I chose this mountain to climb in this life. And so however this pans out, I have to release expectations. I have to release the need for something outside of myself to complete me or to make me happy. So if that's money, can't happen. Cannot. Money will never satisfy, right? Finances, having enough, having more than what you need, never going to satisfy. Having a partner, I was in a decent relationship. I'm not going to lie. That relationship had love in it. It was fairly healthy. We definitely argued and got upset at each other, but we resolved every conflict. The only thing that was a big thing for me was he just wasn't willing to grow. There was no self development. There was no spiritual development. And so it was really hard for me to visualize living life with that person, like long term. Like, if they're not able to actually make the decision to better themselves physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, then I have a problem with that, because I am on this trajectory and I am not willing to sacrifice this by who I'm hitching my wagon to. I'd rather be single, and that's the decision I chose. So I think some of that was the I guess rectifying within myself that, you could have been with somebody, like, he was ready to propose. You could be married right now. You could have your kids right now that you've always wanted. And yet you don't, because you chose to be in this direction, not that direction. You chose this direction. So it was kind of like a realization of, like, I could be single for life and never have a companion, never have a life partner. That could be my destiny. That could be my life. And I have to be okay with that. I have to accept that and be happy and content regardless. So it's wonderful when I have moments like this, which is rare. This is a first, but it was great because it brought all this back up again, reminding me that that hopelessness is still there, reminding me that there still is this inkling of this energy that is tied to a belief that I might lack. I might not ever have a desire for companionship, partnership fulfilled. And I hate it when I get it dangled, even though it is a huge encouragement to have amazing men around me. Not gonna lie. Like, I actually love it. I get to rub shoulders with these mighty men that I love, that are amazing men. And I get to have all the combos, I get to have all the connections. It's just not a life partner or companion in that way connection. It's a brother, it's a friend, it's a best friend. So I think for me, I'm realizing, look, that may be what I have, and I have to be okay with that. I have to accept that and be totally satisfied within myself. I cannot and will not, I refuse to be satisfied by anything else outside of myself first. Like, it's okay to be satisfied by someone else. It's okay to have someone come into your life and fulfill that desire and meet that need for companionship. There is nothing wrong with that. But I think what hurts, what causes suffering, is when you haven't met that need within yourself. So how the fuck do you do this? How do you meet a companionship need that requires two people within yourself? Well, I fully believe that companionship is connection. And so, as connected as you can be within yourself, the more connected you can be, the less you will have a need, not just a desire, but a need to connect with others. It's kind of like that same idea, and this may not land for some of you guys, but I liken it to when you sit in silence. Have any of you ever sat in complete and utter silence in your car, in your apartment? No music, no sound, nothing. No music, nothing. You're not talking, you're just being silent. There is a moment, if you haven't done that in a while, you can really kind of tell where your nervous system is at if you haven't if you've ever done this, you know, because you immediately start getting itchy to speak. You get itchy to have music playing. You get itchy to to make a noise, to move, to even, even open your eyes or whatever, make a sound. It's really interesting. Sitting in silence can be very uncomfortable. But when you do that, you realize there's a disconnect here, because sound a lot of times can take our attention, it can take our focus, it can drown out that silence, it can fill that silence, that empty space. And that can feel satisfying for a time. But if we're not acquainted with silence, then it makes it really difficult to be silent. So same thing, if you are not acquainted with yourself, if you're not connected with yourself, it's really hard to be alone. Aloneness is different than loneliness. And I think aloneness is actually super nourishing. It's super fulfilling, and you have a lot of contentment. And I have to say, like, I'm kind of there. Like, I honestly am quite content. And because I went through that season first when I first was dating, when I was 23, and it was my first love, my first boyfriend, first heartbreak. And I actually, after we broke up, I was so traumatized from it all that I was 5 years single. And I was so on the single train that I thought maybe I'm becoming lesbian, and that's not good because I'm a pastor. And I can't be a lesbian as a Christian pastor. That's not going to work in this church. But and it's sort of joking, but I did have a moment where I was seriously considering it. Like, maybe I just swear off men, just be with women. But I think ultimately, um, ultimately, I took time to rebuild myself because I really crumbled into a million pieces. And I took it as the opportunity to rebuild myself. And so, anyway, all that to say, I learned how to be happy within myself. I took myself out on dates and excursions and adventures and trips, and I loved it. It was the best thing ever. And I still do that. I still take myself out. I still like do things. And that makes my masculine side happy and my feminine side happy. When I set up dates, like I'm putting on a retreat beginning of November. And what I did do, I booked myself a massage and a facial afterwards. Like, look, this is what you have to look forward to, sweetheart. Doing it for myself. I'm doing what a man would do for me, my partner would do for me, to support me and make sure that I'm taking time for myself after being super, super crazy busy. So I think it's things like that that really nourish me personally. And that might be something that you want to do, because when you do things like that for yourself, you're also setting yourself up to be so fulfilled within yourself, to nourish yourself, to take care of yourself, to love on yourself and spoil yourself, because you're worth it, regardless of what that is. If that's a guy's trip out, if you're a dude, if that's a girl's weekend, if you're a chick, or vice versa. Um, Maybe you're a guy and you want a girl's weekend, and you're a girl and you want a guy's weekend. Either way, whatever does it for you. But I think what's really cool is that's what's helped me. So when I go out on dates, I I don't really go in with this need of like, I need him to do this and this and this for me, or else, not going to be good, not going to be fulfilled. I go in very like happy and excited and just happy and looking forward to connecting. I mean, I'm like a super connector. My mom called me a social butterfly. She's like, you're such a pollinator. You just pollinate all the groups of the people. She just watched me flitting around from group to group to group. And that's always been me. And so I just love connecting with people. I find people fascinating. So that was kind of like my only really missed opportunity tonight. I was just really looking forward to hearing his stories about being a Marine, and what it's like and why he moved here. Like, I was looking forward to getting into some more deeper questions or deeper topics with him and get to know him a little bit more. But That's okay. Um, so my self-love practice is that I take myself out on dates. I pre kind of I look ahead and I go, what would be super nourishing and really exciting for me to have to look forward to? Is there anything? Is there a trip? Is there something that I can do for myself that is super nourishing and, taking care of that space that needs to have like that time of surrender and time of escape, even too, like escape to the mountains and see the fall colors. There's 3 weeks in the fall that is kind of like September, October time when the leaves turn these like neon colors, neon green and orange and all of that. And I want to go explore that. I'm going to go take my fucking self out to do that. Like, and I'm going to take little Winston and we're going to just have the best time. And so that's this coming weekend. But I just think it's so important to do little things like that. Kind of look ahead and see, like, oh, I have a busy couple weeks and I have an event for work or whatever, the kids or family. And so I'm gonna set something up for myself so that that way I can get loved on. I can get nourished. I can hit the reset button. I can feel loved on, and that's all that matters. And if that's coming from you or that's one day coming from a partnership, that's all that matters. Like, what matters is that it's happening. You're making it happen for yourself. One day you will have a companion, a partner that's going to do that for you too. And you're going to know how to receive that. And you're going to know how to ask for it as well. Like, hey, this would be really helpful if you'd help set this up for me, whatever it takes, right? So, my self love practice on the daily, though, is I wake up every morning and the first thing I do is I come to my meditation pillow and I just sit in silence and gratitude. I've woken up. I have another day. I have so much to be grateful for. I have so much that I get to accomplish in this day. I have so much that I get to experience in this day. I think of all the ways that I need to be nourished and that I need to nourish others. I think of the people in my life and I send them love and good vibes. And then I also kind of do a body check, like how do I feel my body? Like, where is there tension or ease and flow? Cool, awesome. And then I look at my mental and emotional health. I do like a little health check on my thoughts and my emotions. What did I dream about? What are the thoughts that I'm thinking this morning? And then I take kind of like a pulse, an energetic pulse within my aura as well as in my space and even within the world. And I just kind of like tune in. And if I get anything, I write it down. If I don't get anything, that's cool. But I just kind of do an intake, of all the things for me and what I'm feeling. And then what I do is I just honestly say, I repeat whatever mantra I'm feeling. Like, if something came up in that practice and like I feel like I lack love in my life, and I say, I am love, I have love, and I experience love. That's one of my favorite things. And you can always replace whatever that word is, right? Love can be joy, peace, abundance. So you say, I am love, and I have love, and I experience love. I am abundant and I have abundance and I experience abundance. I am joy. I have joy. I experience joy. I am peace. I have peace and I experience peace. And so, whatever it is, I am, I have, I experience. And I really get filled up with gratitude around that. I really allow that to fill up my heart space and literally breathe that in and just like, I am love and I have love and I experience love in my life. And then it's really fun because throughout the day you get to see like what that looks like. I think when you become aware of something, you get to see it expressed. Whatever your perception is, you will see it in your life. And so that's really cool. So that's a couple of my self-love practices. I also do yoni eggs. I'm probably gonna pop one in tonight. My rose quartz gonna pop that in up in there and have at it. I self-pleasure as well and really connect with my body. That's big deal. That's something that I still am working through my history. I came from a Christian background. I was told by pastors that you're so anointed and connected with God, and you're living your purpose because you're a virgin. And so I have a lot of shame around not being a virgin and what that is and what that's like. And so my self-love practice is so much, it's into pleasure, no shame or guilt in pleasure. In my body, wherever that's being held, I really like, I hold the places that I have most insecurities around on my body. I actually touch the most. And I know that that may be weird. It's not weird to me, but I'm like, dude, I am not abandoning this. Like, I am not abandoning this space. And for any of my ladies who are curvy and who have curves and who have what I affectionately call fluffy lovins, you get it. I cracked up Dr. Darren 2 days ago. I was on his table and I was like, you notice, like, I'm looking good, right? Yeah. And he's like, you're looking really good. Like, every time you come in, I'm like, whoa, like, you're totally shaping up, because I've been strength training for like a little over a month. And so my body just has totally like been like, yes, queen, like do those leg presses and do those leg extensions and hamstring curls, and do those squats, and so my body's like loving it. And and so I told him, I was like, I'm looking and I'm seeing like my fluffy lovin's are getting smaller. And he just was like, he was laughing. So I love calling them fluffy lovins, because I actually want to love every part of my body that is still in process of healing, still in process of becoming more and more healthy and well. And that's all I want for myself and for my body. But I make sure to not neglect the areas, including emotional, mental, not just physical, but I make sure to not neglect any parts of myself that I don't like. And anytime that I look in the mirror, because they say women have like a million negative critical thoughts about our bodies, it doesn't matter what the fuck you look like. If you are skinny, you still see that, like, that little roll, or you don't see the definition you have, or your ass is flat or not, not perky enough. And we just criticize, criticize, criticize. We never not criticize. And men, I think it's only a couple thousand times a year that they do it. For us, it's like a million plus. So I really am cognizant of that, because I'm like, dude, I do not want to have a negative thought, because I'm putting that into my body, and I'm putting it into the area that I want most healing and most health. I want the most change, in. I want to see that shift, and I want to see that release and no longer hold on, in the case of weight or a fluffy lovin'. So I tend to just like like for me, it's my stomach. So I just like, I love on my stomach. I have no problem touching my stomach, all of it. I just like love on it. And I'm just like, dude, like, I love my tummy. I love my waist. I love this body that I have. Like, this is like, I love my body. I love it. I love every part of it. And I send love to it, even the places that I'm most insecure about, right? And so I think that's really important. It's really important to love yourself, to love every part of yourself, no matter what. And so if that's your hips, if that's your, thighs, if that's whatever that is, your tummy, your boobs, whatever it is, right, that you need to send love to, that is one of my biggest love, self-love and self-pleasuring practices. I do that in self-pleasuring as well. And I think that's huge. So that's one of the, or a couple different self-love practices. And I think too, like, the third thing is to not settle for half or partial of what you want. So like for me, I'm real quick to cut off, and cut off in love. I think I've not been like that in the past, and I've learned in my 30s to not give any room or space for anything that is not what I want to experience or have in my life. So, and that includes down to a thought or an emotion. So, if I don't want to feel this way about myself, about my life, about my relationships, friendships, if I don't want to experience what I'm experiencing, then I shift, I change. And that means that I no longer give any room for that half-ass experience or partial experience in my life. I don't settle. So I think that's one thing that I always wrestle with, because I'm also exploring like how to be more free, how to express, how to just experience and enjoy, because there is a balance there. But I think at the core of it, it's whatever my heart, like if you're coming from a heart center, If this is a connection, cool. But if it's a half-ass connection and it's not the connection I want with someone, right? I'm not settling. I'm not just going to go for partial or halvesies, right? I'm going to go for what is an actual connection. And so I think how we don't settle for half or partial is you actually know what you want. And if you don't have that written down, if you don't have your values, your core values written down anywhere, do it. What I actually want to do, and I've been meaning to do for so long, is write out my core values and do something cool like on Canva, print it out, and then actually have it like either in my bedroom, whether it's just like framed and then, like leaning up against in a shelf or something, as like kind of like a decor with a plant or candle around it, whatever. Like I don't necessarily need to hang it up on my wall or anything, but if I want to, cool. And if you want to, cool. But just to have it, stylishly written out in a cool way so that it's a reminder, because the more that you see what your core values are and even what you're looking for in a relationship, I'll often go back to my journal and I'll go, okay, and this is what I'm looking for in a partner. This is what I'm looking for in a companionship. Like these are the core things that I'm looking for. I mean, I have the hots for Jason Momoa, but I'm sure Jason Momoa is never someone that I'm going to meet. Could happen, but the chances are not likely, right? So, but I have core values that I appreciate in Jason Momoa as an example. One of them is his integrity, at least from what I can see, and the fact that he has morals and values and he stands up for them even if it means he loses money. So, a couple of those things I really like, I really appreciate, I really respect. And so that's what I'm looking for in a partner. So, have your core values, whatever they are, core 3 or 5 or whatever. Have that list of what you want in your life, whether it's a companionship, whether it's in work, right? And prosperity and abundance. What does that look like for you? If it's like lifestyle, generally lifestyle, how do you want to live your life? Are you living the life how you want to live it? Are you living your life how you want to live it? So is that, define that. What is it? How is it that you want to live? What are your friendships, relationships, connections like with people? What do you want them to be like? What do you want your work to be like? How do you want, what are some creative projects? Do you always want to be creating, or do you just want to be a part of creations? Do you want to be the idea maker, or do you want to be the person that is making the ideas come to life? What is it that you want to do? And so having that listed out is so good, guys. Like, I just want to encourage you, guys and gals. I want to encourage you that if you haven't done that, or if you haven't done it in a while, take the time to do that, because that is how you don't settle. Because if you don't have that clear in your mind and it's not something that you like live your life by, it's kind of like creating your own like 10 commandments, create your own and live by them, and they may change, and that's okay, but at least have them out, because that is how you don't have a connection happen or have someone approach you, friend or potential partner, and that is how you don't settle for what you're getting, right? Versus what you want, versus what you are working hard to manifest. So I think that's really helpful. And what's really awesome is we're going to have a really amazing guest episode next week with Aaliyah. She's from Spiritual Ship Podcast. You know her, I'm sure. And we talk about this in that episode. So I'm really excited for you guys to see that. But I kind of wanted to give you, since it was hot off the press, hot tea, I wanted to gift you that wisdom and little, I guess, nuggies that I'm getting of reflection, and also seeing what happens within me, because I know that I'm not alone. Whether you're a woman or a man, or you identify as a woman or a man, or non-binary, regardless, we all experience being triggered as we're getting out there and dating. And even if you're in a relationship, you experience rejection, you experience hard times, you experience really hard conversations. And so I just want to encourage you, wherever you are at in your singlehood, in your relationship hood, wherever you're at in life, I just want to encourage you, when you come up against points where a goal is blocked, or you feel limited, or you feel hopeless that you're ever going to experience what you want to experience, I just want to encourage you anything is possible. So make sure that your self-love practice is on point. Anywhere where you need to enhance that, beef it up, make it juicy, plan ahead, allow your masculine to plan things, allow your feminine to receive those planning, and to not get in your head of like, oh, budget, or whatever, time, whatever it is that you would be like, I can't do it. Don't do that. Don't be that for yourself. Really receive and allow your masculine to make the plans, within yourself. If you're in relationship, allow the masculine, whoever that is in the relationship, the more masculine energy to do that for you. If that's you, then do it for yourself or vocalize it. Say like, hey, I'd really appreciate it if I could do this. Is this something you can help me set up? Or do you have any creative ideas that would be something like this that would be fun, or nourishing for me, and or support me in doing this, right? And then also really, really safeguard hope. Really safeguard your hope. uh, don't allow your hope to get deferred and for your heart to become sick as you're on the journey. Just understand that these experiences are experiences, they're love letters. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It just means that this is just a part of the journey and a part of the experience. But as you heal and you realign and you address the hopelessness, you address the disappointment, you address the lack, the limitation, the scarcity, whatever that is, whatever those core beliefs that are needing to be healed, and you're having life give you those opportunities to heal them, just lean into that and face it. Because if you don't, you're going to have moments that are going to be really, really painful and really, really difficult, like I had last year. Ooh, that was painful. And also, I think knowing your core values, your core needs, core wants, core desires will help you to not settle for half or partial of what you want, whether that's in relationship, whether that's in prosperity and abundance, whether that's in the lifestyle, how you're living your life. And so I just want to encourage you in that. So I hope this was juicy and good. I hope you enjoyed the tea. And I hope this encouraged and inspired you guys wherever you're at. So I love you so much. I send you guys so much love in your life. Thank you for letting me have a raw moment and to share, kind of sort of off cuff, but pre-planned. I pre-planned this, but not the experience prior to recording this, but very perfect timing. It was like perfect. I'm going to record that episode because I've been waiting to record it for a while. So I love you guys, and be encouraged, be loved, be inspired.